Okay, so if we turn to page 245 in our workbook, and you can work along with me, we're actually going to take a look at number 2, because number 1, you can go through and count the squares and determine the area simply by counting the number of squares. On 245, we have to be a little bit more creative about where we're drawing our line and how we're adding it up. So we're going to start by creating this, like we did our crazy cakes, we're going to make a line right here. And so we can easily figure out the area of this shape here, just like it's an array, right? So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 4 array. And so we know that this area inside that shape is going to be a total of 24 squares, okay? But the question is going to be, how are we going to figure out the area of this polygon? And so what we can do is we can go through and we could start marking our whole squares. So we have 1 whole square, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 whole squares that takes up this area here. But now we have these triangles. And just like we talked about decomposing shapes, we can take this triangle and flip it over and add it to there to make a whole square. So now we have another square, so that makes 7. And then we can take this triangle and we can flip it over to where we add it to this triangle, and we come up with another square. So we end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total squares in that top triangle, okay? And so we have 24 squares in the rectangle down at the bottom, and then we have 8 more squares, which would make a total of 32 squares. Now there's another way that we can do this, and I'm going to show that to you right now. So let me just clear this. So if we take a look and we can look at this shape, and we're going to do the same thing down here. We're going to make this line, and we know that this is 24, but we're going to do this shape to where we're going to create this other shape and try to figure out the whole area of this. And we know that that line of symmetry, that line of symmetry is splitting this area in half. So we created, in essence, a 4 by 4 square. Now, if we know 4 times 4 equals 16, we're only focused on half of that square. And so we can determine that half of that square, this half here, is going to be 8, because 16 divided by 2 is 8. And so now we have the top section as 8, and the bottom section is 24. And then we can add those together, and we will determine that our answer is 32 squares. And so that's another way that we can look at how to solve the problem. Okay? You will continue to work on this, and make sure you turn in your assignments at the end in a video, and ask any questions if you need to. And of course, we'll have small group meeting today as well. Good luck.